B.4 Yes No questions. Questions avec oui ou non comme réponse. Chapitre 3. So in chapter 1 we've already seen a couple of ways to ask question that leads to a yes or no answer. So we've seen intonation. Tu es français? So you rise your intonation at the end. Tu es français? But the structure is like an affirmation except for the interrogative, the interrogation point. Donc, sujet, verbe. We have also seen the inversion. Es-tu français? So inversion because here you have your verb and your subject. So you see it's the opposite. That's why it's inversion. And we have also seen est-ce que. Est-ce que tu es français? So here you have your subject, your verb, but you use the est-ce que as a way to ask your question. And est-ce que doesn't mean anything. It basically signals that you are asking a question that requires a yes or no answer. So for intonation, inversion, est-ce que, you are gonna answer with oui, non. And remember that if your subject start with a vowel, like il, then the que, you do the élision. You drop the e and you add an apostrophe. Est-ce qu'il est français? Here you will see a few examples from your book. Phrase déclarative. Tu es français? Question. Est-ce que tu es français? Il est américain. Est-ce qu'il est américain? And you notice the élision. Vous parlez français? Est-ce que vous parlez français? Hélène aime le café. Est-ce qu'Hélène aime le café? Les professeurs sont stricts. Est-ce que les professeurs sont stricts? So now let's take a closer look at the inversion. The inversion, as I said earlier, is basically switching your subject and your verb, the position of your subject and your verb. So your verb comes first and then your subject comes after, and in between you have to put a hyphen. Tu es français, es-tu français? Verbe, sujet, hyphen. Il est américain, est-il américain? Vous parlez français, parlez-vous français? Elle arrive demain, arrive-t-elle demain? Here you see you have a T in between. You need a T in between because your verb ends with a E and your subject starts with a E. So you have two vowels together. You can't have that in French when you do an inversion. It wouldn't work. You will hear arrive-t-elle demain? Ah, that's very strange. So we put a T so the pronunciation is smoother. Arrive-t-elle demain? What you need to remember is that most verb form ends in a consonant. So that T only occurs with the third person singular forms like il, elle, on of the ER verbs and the verbs avoir and aller when the verbs form end in a vowel. That's when you really need the T. So here are a couple of other examples. Elle va bien, va-t-elle bien? Il raconte une histoire, raconte-t-il une histoire? Elle dîne avec nous, dîne-t-elle avec nous? Il travaille beaucoup, travaille-t-il beaucoup? Il aime danser, aime-t-il danser? Another thing that you need to remember with the inversion is that you can never do an inversion with je. Never, never. We don't use that. So now let's take a look at the inversion with a noun subject. The inversion is done between the subject pronoun and the verb. So you must have a subject pronoun. Je, tu, il, nous, vous, il. But remember I told you that with je we don't do the inversion. To do an inversion. So what you do when you have a noun subject is that you duplicate it. For example, Hélène aime le fromage. You're gonna say Hélène aime-t-elle le fromage? So you see you have your verb, you have your subject pronoun inversion. Don't forget the T because it's E, but here you have you need that noun here. Hélène aime-t-elle le fromage? So I know who you are talking about. Same thing, les professeurs sont stricts. Les professeurs, that's your subject. You're gonna replace it by il. Donc les professeurs sont-ils stricts? Le train arrive. Le train, that's your subject. You replace it by il. Le train arrive-t-il? Marc et Christine parlent au téléphone. Marc et Christine, il pluriel. Remember, if you have a masculine and a feminine, it's always going to be a masculine form. Even if you have 3 women and 1 man, it's going to be a masculine form. So you keep Marc et Christine parlent-ils au téléphone? Vous détestez parler en classe. Détestez-vous parler en classe? Ici, you just keep your subject pronoun. You don't need to do anything else. Now, I want to finish with taking a look at the inversion with a negative. For example, when you have elle ne va pas bien, you have your verb here, you have your subject, and you have your negation here, ne pas. At an affirmative, your negation is surrounding your verb, but the negation is a little bit different. Let's take a look at it. So, elle ne va pas bien. The question would be, ne va-t-elle pas bien? So you have your inversions, you have your verb here, and you have your subject. You need the T in between because you have 2 vowels. But here your negation surrounds the subject and the verb. So the 2 are surrounded. Let's take a look at a couple of other examples. Vous ne parlez pas italien. Ne parlez-vous pas italien? Elle n'arrive pas aujourd'hui. N'arrive-t-elle pas aujourd'hui? Gilles et Paul n'écoutent pas. Gilles et Paul n'écoutent-ils pas? So remember here you need to put your subject, and then for the inversion you can only have an inversion with a subject pronoun. One last thing, this is all about yes or no questions, oui, non. But when you have a negative in your question, we actually not gonna use oui. So to answer yes to a negative question, French uses the word si instead of oui. For example, tu n'as pas de cours ce soir. Si j'ai un cours de maths. Si is a kind of way of saying, are you kidding me? Obviously you don't know what you're talking about. So don't make that assumption that I don't have something. So that's really what it means.